One way the Edelweiss Pirates openly rebelled against what the Nazis and Hitler believed in was that they had long hair, wore colorful clothing and short pants, and sang songs by Jewish composers and anti-Nazis. These groups would go around cafes, go on hikes on evenings or weekends, which seemed like harmless activities, but were considered criminal activities outside of Hitler Youth. So essentially in Germany, these teenagers were criminals. A lot of these kids had jobs in mills or factories but were labeled as social outcasts. Then a lot of these kids had a really rough life, as a lot of their parents had been arrested or killed because of their communist views, and others had fathers who were off at war. As the war progressed, so did the rebellious actions of the pirates. These teenagers, again remember they were around 14 to 17, started leading more dangerous activities. They would shelter Germans who deserted the army to get away, along with escaped prisoners from labor camps. To continue, they tried to sabotage war production by making armed raids on military depots. Pirates who were risky enough will play pranks on Nazis. One pirate who's alive after the war and able to tell a story, Gene Julich, says he used to throw bricks to munition factories and would pour sugar into the petrol tanks of Nazi cars. Groups would vandalize and write things such as "Down with Hitler" and "Down with Nazi brutality." These teams were risking their lives for their cause, doing anything and everything they could to disrupt Hitler's plans and anything to do with the Nazi Party. Groups would meet up and trade information that they knew illegally from listening to the BBC World Service. They led missions where they would spread an empty leaflets that tried to get people to join the Allies, that included Allied propaganda, and try to get the German soldiers to go back home. A dangerous part of these missions is that they would have to release the leaflets without being seen. For example, a small group in Cologne chose to release flyers at the main train station, where they worked intricately together to release the flyers without being seen as people were loading off the train. As they would empty the flyers, if they had extras they had to be careful, first not to be seen, then to be even more careful in getting rid of the rest of the flyers, like dumping them into rivers, so they wouldn't be caught with them. If these teens were caught, the least form of punishment would be a threat, a beating, or forced to get their heads shaved as a form of humiliation. More severe consequences would be getting put in jail, going to reform schools, or just being killed. The pirates, when caught, will go through the unimaginable when they are captured, usually by the Gestapo, who was known as the cruelest police force that dealt with rebelling Nazis and would not hesitate to hurt a child. Going back to Gene Julich, he was caught when he was 15 with others and was put in a prison cell for 4 months where he was tortured under brutal conditions as information was tried to be pried out of him. A friend of his, Bartholomew Schenk, was publicly hanged after being put in prison without a trial. There are more gruesome and horrifying stories of what happened to these children, but one thing is for sure, they never lost their passion for fighting against the Nazis. They continued on fighting until the end of the war, fighting for what was right, and these acts are very heroic. However, they are still recognized as criminals today in Germany.